Howdy, howdy, folks. Welcome to a special edition of Sticks and Stones, a Juneteenth edition of Sticks and Stones. You know, that venerable holiday that everybody loves to celebrate. I do happen to have Juneteenth off, so I thought I'd bring you a special episode today. I'm actually going to try and do one a day today, tomorrow, and Sunday. That's something I don't normally do. But you know, at some point, I do want to do this more than just once a week. It's just quite a while coming, you know. Anyway, this is going to be a great episode. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Yeah, there I am. And I am pairing today Talisker 10-year-old Scotch. This is from the Isle of Skye. It is the only distillery on the Isle of Skye. So, you know, that makes it kind of special. And I am pairing that with a Crowned Heads Mil Dias cigar. I think you're really going to love it. So we're just going to jump right on into it. We are kind of leaning into contrast, and we are letting the spirit take the lead on this. Just make sure I can hear myself talking. You know. Yep, there I am. All right, I'm good. This is you can call it coastal smoky single malt, because the Isle of Skye, it's an island. It's not very big, relatively speaking. You know, it's like the United Kingdom is an island, but it's pretty big. Anyway, it is paired with a refined and elegant cigar that is all about balance and a subtle complexity. This one should evolve, not overpower, but we're just going to see how it plays out. Now, the spirit, Talisker, 10-year-old single malt Scotch. It is 91.6 proof. The mash bill is 100% malted barley. It delivers a clean kind of malt backbone, allowing the peat smoke and the salinity and the pepper spice to kind of take center stage without grain sweetness getting in the way. Let's go ahead and get some glassed up. That's a good one. You can already smell the ocean. Now, like like a lot of scotches, it is very light, delicate, and beautiful in the glass with a nice viscosity to it. It's got some really great legs on it. I mean, it's really almost the color of like a ripe wheat field or a ripe hay field, something like that. On the nose, you get the sea salt right away. And then you get this nice like campfire kind of smokiness. There's a little bit of a citrus peel in there. You get some notes of like fresh cracked black pepper. And there's a faint kind of honeyed malt there towards the end. On the palate, and we're rolling along. We're doing good. And I'm watching the U.S. and Australian World Cup. Let me take another one. On the palate, you get the peat smoke right away. Now, I have had Islay scotches, and this is sometimes kind of shoved into that category because it is an island Scotch, Islay Island, and it's got a smoky peatiness to it, which is that's their thing in that particular Scotch making region. It is not as smoky and peaty as say like a Lagavulin. There you go. That one to me, somebody gave me a bottle. I poured a little in a shot glass, so I wouldn't even pour an ounce. I could already smell the smoke. I took a sip of that 1 ounce shot, poured the shot out, gave the bottle away. it was way too smoky and peaty for me. I'm not a big smoky peaty guy. So when I'm giving you these reviews of scotches that are smoky and peaty, um, I'm really trying to get away from my not liking it and bringing you what's the flavors, what's the aromas, what's all that, so that you can judge for yourself. Because just because I say I don't like it, that doesn't mean you're not going to like it. A lot of people love really smoky, peaty scotches, just not me. So let me get another. Yeah, and of course I'm going back for a third sip here. So I try to be a professional. Um, the finish is delicate, but it's long. It lasts a while. Uh, it's kind of warming. It's smoky. There's a little lingering spice there, and there's quite a bit of salinity from the salt air. Um, I do like that part of them when you're talking about these Islay scotches, because they're generally on the coast and they just absorb that salt air. Um, so that I do like. It's just kind of I'm not a big fan of the smoke and the peat. I'm getting enough smoke with a cigar. So speaking of cigar, let's go ahead and move right on in to the Crowned Heads Mil Diaz. I really like this cigar. I've had several Crowned Heads. I have not nearly had all of them. I do really like this one, and I think you will too if you give it a try. The filler is Nicaraguan and Peruvian, which is something rather different. The binder is Nicaraguan, and the wrapper is a beautiful dark Ecuadorian Habano. Um, it has excellent construction. It's getting harder and harder for me to see these seams. I cannot see the seams on it at all. They're invisible. Um, but it does have fairly significant amount of, I do actually see part of a seam right there, uh, of veining. Like I know, get it up high enough so both cameras can get it. It does have some significant veining to it. Uh, and it's also got some molting. It's generally more of just like a regular milk chocolate brown, but there are some splotches of like dark chocolate brown. Um, Now on the nose, USA's already scored. We're only 10 minutes in. Or yeah, the US is my second team. My first team's Germany. Sorry, just is. I get a little bit of light cedar, some toasted nuts, a nice hay note in there, and a touch of kind of a natural sweetness. Let's go ahead and give it a cut. I did not get my cutter out of the bag. Keep my cutter in the bag so it doesn't get all scarred up. I really love this Cassetti multi-cutter. It is a guillotine, a V-cut, and a punch cut all in one. So don't do this at the cigar shop. This is my cigar shop. I can do what I want. But when you go to a cigar shop, don't do that. Especially if you're using their cutter. If you're using your cutter, you might be able to get away with it, but ain't nobody going to ask you to borrow your cutter, because they're going to see you licking all over your cigar and then sticking it in your cutter. So we are in the post-COVID world, right? So anyway, on the cold draw, I get a really nice creaminess. There's some light spice in there and just a little faint note of citrus. Not a really complex cold draw, but some really nice flavors there. I think you'll really like them. Let's go ahead and get it fired up. I am using my Rocky Patel Envoy blowtorch, the 5 torch. I'm gonna go ahead and take this middle band off because I'm afraid it is going to get in the way. All right, now we're ready. I have nothing out here to attract flies, and there's flies everywhere. Unless they're wanting some scotch. That could be. Nice. Got a few people watching. Thank you. Happy you're here. Hmm. I really like this cigar. Scare the flies off. Off the light, I get a creamy cedar, some toasted bread, a little light pepper, and then it's got this kind of smooth and elegant profile-y finish. Uh, it is for a darker cigar. It is a lot, I don't know, lighter cigar than it actually shows. It is not. I always tell people you start off with the light wrappers, the Olivas, the O's and the G's, that light Connecticut shade wrapper, and you work your way up into the darker ones. This is a really good transition cigar, kind of going from the light ones into the dark ones. I would recommend it for that. Pretty decent amount of smoke coming off this cigar. It's not, a real smoke monster, but it does have some a nice bit of smoke, and it's a really, it is a very easy draw, not over easy, but you know what I mean. You don't have to really work on it to get smoke through it. Uh, take another one here. Now together, naturally, the Talisker is going to kind of dominate early, uh, and bringing in that smoke and that salinity and bringing that to the forefront. But the Mil Diaz kind of softens those edges and turns that sharp peat into more of a rounded, creamy kind of smokiness. Um, it really does. The Mil Diaz really does do well, even though it's being paired with a Scotch that should overpower it. It manages to come in and lock in and kind of do that supporting role and kind of keep everything, make everything a little bit smoother. So I think you'd like it. Well, I already got a yellow card. One of our guys on the ground crying. Oh, he got raked in the face. Dude raked his hand right over his face. That dude, cheap shot. um, I also think this would go good with a higher proof bourbon. Um, you bring in a nice corn sweetness, and but then still have a little bit of maybe that rye spice in there, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 70 corn, and between 10 and 20 in rye, and then the rest be malted barley. I think it would go really well with something like that as well. Now, those that may not, you may not really have tried Scotch all that much. Maybe you've had, the Scotch that sells the most bottles worldwide is Johnny Walker. Uh, it just is. It's probably the most well known name in Scotch. Now it is a blended Scotch, which means they take different Scotches from, in a lot of cases, uh, different distilleries, not even just different barrels, different ages, that kind of stuff, but different distilleries, and they blend them together to get what they want. Uh, Single malts are different. A single malt, it's coming from one grain season, and you're getting that field, I guess you'd say. Um, and then they dig the peat out of the bogs, put the grain out in these big houses. I forgot what they call them, to dry, and then underneath the floor where the grain is, they put peat in there and they light it on fire. That's where the smokiness and the peatiness comes from. Um, So you've got 5 Scotch making regions, and they all kind of bring their own thing. Now, Speyside and Highland are fairly close. The least amount of smoke, the least amount of peat, and that is typically my wheelhouse for scotches. I love those. I do really like Brooklotic's Classic Lottie. Uh, it is actually an Islay Scotch, but I really like that Scotch, and you can't miss it on the Scotch aisle. It's in a pastel blue bottle. You can't miss it, and it is. I think it's really good, and it's really the only Islay Scotch that I drink unless I'm doing something like this. Um, but then you have Lowland Scotch and Campbelltown, and they, like I said, they all kind of have something different. So if you really should get out and experience what Scotch has to offer, because there's a lot of stuff out there. And like I said, all the different regions, they have kind of their own little twist on making Scotch. Uh, but realize this: if it's not distilled, aged, and bottled in Scotland, it's not Scotch. That's why you see Japanese malted whiskey and things like that. They're using the malted to let you know this is like Scotch. Um, but but Scotland will come after you if you try to sell Scotch that was distilled, aged, and bottled in somewhere else other than Scotland. They're like, that's our thing. Stay out of it. So, uh, yeah, but and you can go all kinds of price points. And I have found that the most expensive scotches may not actually be the best tasting. Johnny Walker, I love Johnny Walker Green Label. It's a 15-year-old scotch. Johnny Walker Blue Label is their highest level, somewhere in the neighborhood of 21 years. It's blended from a lot of different years, but on average, it's like 21. And I prefer Green Label over the Blue Label. It's just my palate. Um, so get out there and try the single malts, try um, the blended ones. Just see what you like. Another one is the Dalmore. I'm a real Dalmore fan, and I tried the 12-year, the 15-year, the 18-year. To me, the 12-year was the best. It was the most economical too. Now, even with prices having increased, it's somewhere around $60, $70 a bottle. But when I first tried it, it was in the 50s. Um, and then they also have I think it's their same 12-year, but it's aged in port cask, and it's really good too. So you don't have to go and get the most expensive one to get the best one. Try a lot of stuff, see what you like. Best I can say. Now let's go ahead because we're running out of time here. I'll go ahead and tell you about the rest of this cigar. As you get into the midway point, the body on the cigar builds a little more. There's more spice. There's a subtle earthiness. There's kind of a growing natural sweetness. And this is kind of where the pairing really starts clicking. Uh, Citrus from the Talisker kind of locks in with the cigar's brightness. It kind of creates a lemon pepper plus creamy dynamic that feels intentional and layered and not artificial. And as you move on through the pairing, the cigar's spice will intensify and the earth will get even deeper as you get towards the end. And the cigar develops a nice, warm, slightly nutty finish. Uh, and the Talisker will kind of regain control with a stronger smoke and pepper, but the cigar still holds its own. And it kind of results in a balanced finish that never overwhelms your palate. Um, the Ecuadorian Habano wrapper brings the brightness and that controlled spice, which allows the Talisker's peat and salinity to just shine without clashing. And that's what I was saying in the beginning about this pairing. It is a refined contrast pairing that is about balance, not brute force. The cigar tempers the scotch early, then meets it in the middle before letting that smoky finish kind of take the lead again. They work very well together. Talisker, I would give the Talisker a 9 out of 10. Uh, and this is just on the Scotch scales. The Mil Dijas, I would say 8.9 out of 10. When I had originally tested these, I came up with a total and it's not an average. It's kind of a total um, of a 9.1. I really think this is probably not worth quite that much. But I think you'd be somewhere down in the 8.8, 8.9 range. Still a really good pairing. That if you want to try, if you're new to this and you want to try kind of an out there Scotch and a really nice cigar, give the Talisker a shot. It's not a budget killer at all. Trust me, it's not. I hope you've enjoyed this pairing as much as I have enjoyed bringing it to you. Please hit like, subscribe, share, notify, ring all the bells, blow all the whistles. You know, all that kind of stuff. Uh, Going. Thought it must have been smoke from the cigar. I thought my screen fogged up. Um, Share it with your friends. Let them all know about it. Go to X and become a subscriber. $1 a month. The subscribers received the notes for this pairing 2 days ago. They already knew, and they could gone out and got them some Talisker, found them a Mil de Haas, and they could sit right here and try it with me. So $1 a month. That's not bad. At least 4 shows a month. That's 25 cents a show. You can't beat that, right? So, till we get to be together again, keep your sticks dry, your stones cold. Have a great day.